I've waited for this, Randor. But appearances can be deceiving!
Welcome back to Retro Wednesday. It's the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the He-Man 2000X series. Now this is the later part, the versus Snakemen. And we're also going to talk about what I feel is the greatest fast food premium ever. This 2000X fast food premium. And then we did get something in the mail before I started filming. And yes, we have Grizzlor. We're going to look at it and more coming up. Okay, so starting out with the McDonald's premiums, they're super cheap. You can still find them cheap on eBay right now. I think a complete set brand new still runs you only 50 bucks or something. You can get them cheaper loose, but look at the size. As you finally get about 3.75 inch size, I can see He-Man being bigger than Luke Skywalker, so it makes sense to me, and it scales with your figures. That's why I picked these up, even though at the time I wasn't really a fan of the designs. I still thought it was pretty cool. Looking at He-Man, he does a couple things. He has spring action in him. I think it was $1, maybe $1.50 in 2003, 2002. He has this big old sword that goes with him, the He-Man sword. So huge. I wasn't a big fan of the aesthetic though, but I was like, man, this is so cool. I have to get it. All right, in his Battle Cat, I didn't collect anything else He-Man at the time, and I still was really interested in this. Now, for whatever reason, the only gimmick I think that this does, it pops off. It pops off. I don't really understand. I guess you hit the target, it pops off. I guess that's the plan. I guess the plan is that Panther shoots that and it makes it pop off, but it's not strong enough anymore. Taking a look at Battle Cat, he is an upgrade from the vintage one because he does have articulation in his legs and his tail. So that is cool. And I was like stoked that we're getting something a little bit better. Now, hollowness on the inside, it's not really something like premium at all. It's a $1 toy at McDonald's, and I'm shocked they did such a good job. Maybe they were a little bit more, I don't know. But they come with your Happy Meals, right? Next up, we have this guy here. We got good old Duncan, or Man-at-Arms, and has the old spinny gadget thing going on with him, and spring waist. Can't believe they could fit all this in here for the price point. Skeletor. Now, I would say he looks good. He looks 2000X-ish. He does have a really nice Havoc staff and all that kind of stuff. He does the bam, bam, whatever. And shoots the missile. We got the articulation in Panther. And then here is Beastman, which looks super awesome, Beastman-ish like. And he does kind of have this mechanism. He does come with an accessory. That's what his whip sort of looks like. I mean, I kept these things still for 20 years. I don't see why bother opening now. I actually think I got all of these loose ones at garage sale for nothing, like $1 for all of it. So anyway, here's Orko, and I don't have Ram Man. Ram Man is on here. I don't know why I didn't pick him up. That was so silly of me, but anyway, let's move on. So strange, I'm filming a Motu video, and this shows up. Grizzlor from Mattel Creations shows up. Now, if you were one of the first ones in the first day, and you got it like in the first 4 minutes or whatever, they're here now. I don't know when the second batch, if you already waited to order from the second batch, I don't know when that's going to come in. So here's the artwork on the back. So it's kind of fun to have. It looks really good, and I sort of feel like I wasted my money on that first 4-pack set after getting this. I think it looks great, but it sucks this is not going to be a retail release. But anyhow, it's cool that they're giving it to us, and anybody that wanted one could get one, so that is pretty awesome. Even if you missed out on both of those, they sell for like 40 bucks. You can go get one on eBay right now, so it's not really that big of a deal. Yes, it's an $18 figure, but anyway, let's move on. All right, so looking at some loose figures, I just happen to have a couple of loose 2000X figures, and this is what they look like. Let's go ahead and, I guess, do one at a time. So looking at Roboto versus a vintage Roboto, and mine's not standing so well. So anyway, I'm sure you can get stands and stuff for that. Still, it's kind of cool. The vintage one has all this stuff going on, and I don't know if actually, I think I do have the rest of his accessories now. And he does retain that gear movement, so it's a modernized look. I wasn't in on this kind of aesthetic back in 2002, so I didn't collect it back then. I did get this collection from a friend of mine. We traded for something. So looking at that, though, it is kind of an interesting update to it. So now I kind of appreciate it way more than I did back then. I can sort of get Two-Bad to stand on his own. So looking at him side by side, definitely a way different look to it. So we have a Two-Bad coming for Masterverse, which is going to be pretty cool. And you got the heads are equal sizes there, but over here, this head's higher and this one's lower. And on the Masterverse one, I think it's reversed. So it's really strange how things are going, but still, it's an interesting design. And looking at like Two-Bad, I'm not connected to Two-Bad. Like, this is something I just found out about as an adult collector. I actually prefer the design of this more, so I can kind of see 2000X really working its way into modern Origins and modern Masterverse. And of course, the Classics one looks good too. All right, we're gonna go through this with absolutely no rhyme or reason and just look at these figures real fast. Give a minute or so, maybe less, for each one of these. But this is Snake Tila. She looks really crazy and cool. And had I seen her in 2002 on the shelf, I would have been like, why? I didn't watch the show. I admit, I didn't watch the show. I did watch that first episode right before filming this, so I have a little bit of kind of where it's going. And it's good. It is really good. And I know that when I was watching some other stuff months ago, it just rolled into a 2000X episode, and I thought it was pretty good. So they did a good job with the animation, all that kind of stuff. And so that's exactly what I think it set the bar pretty high, and why a big part of the Revelations didn't go over that well. So anyway, she's got her scale look to her and all that kind of stuff. She's got her quintessential shield, nice sword, her quintessential staff, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely a nice remake of it. That's what she looks like on the back. And I don't know why she's in separate package. Maybe she was like an exclusive or something. So next up, we've got Roboto. And I gotta say, I think this is just a straight repack of the original Roboto. So, I mean, I think that's what it was. I think that's exactly what it is, and all that kind of stuff. So, and it's nice to have this. So I think I have these other parts in a bag somewhere. And so having a loose one from like the red box, now this is the green box one, and he comes with, I guess this is is it a projectile or just plugs in? I think it's a projectile. Then the claw that I've got on him, and then this piece here, which might be the projectile piece. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about these. I just traded for a collection, and I'm looking at them. Yeah, that is the projectile part. And then, yeah. So kind of fun, kind of cool. A different take on a classic character. We're going to take a look at Man-at-Arms. And so with this, there's some crazy stuff going on with this guy. He has this accessory over here with kind of, looks like some sort of hose coming out of it. He's got a tripod to set it on. And he's got this launching projectile, which launching projectile stuff was super big back in the 80s, but even bigger in the 90s, I think, than the 80s. But he does look kind of cool and sort of matches the look right here. Now this is kind of, so I guess this would be the red box one, and then once we got to the Snakemen, they changed up the colors a bit, so it's a recolor on that. But maybe that's what happened, maybe not, I don't know. Still pretty cool looking Man-at-Arms overall, and it's an exaggerated features of the vintage features, quite exaggerated, but yeah, pretty cool overall. Let's move on. Here's Mekaneck, and since I've recently, in 2020, I think is when I started recollecting He-Man, mostly Origins and Masterverse. But when I traded for this collection, it was so much fun to get to see these inspirations or retakes or re-inspired, or what do you want to say, these new designs. That was kind of fun. So I could really see why long-term Masters Universe collectors have been collecting since the 80s or 90s or whatever, finally got something new in 2002. And they embraced it. I've got a buddy of mine that has all these, and he's super excited. He likes them. He thinks it was a great era and all of that. And so it was kind of fun chatting about this stuff too. So anyway, looking at the back here. So he comes with, his neck does go up. He has this cannon that I guess connects to him. And he's got this claw. The claw. So lots of features, lots of play features in this line. So I think they did a pretty good job overall. Purely random, we're taking a look here at Battle Fist Poing Super Battle. Okay, whatever. Battle Combat, but this is the Combat Fist. This is Fisto. So I guess they are not allowed to use Fisto as the name. 2002, the internet started getting popular. Googling Fisto's probably not the brightest thing to do these days. But he looks good. He looks good. I didn't have this character as a kid, and I really wasn't fond of him at all. So as an adult picking up a Fisto, I thought it was a pretty good figure from, you know, back in the day. And so with that, the action, the giant fist, and now Origins has that solid metal to it. But this one here looks like he's got this, is it a grabbing kind of claw right there? Trying to get rid of that glare. So he's got like a grabbing claw and then push a button to shoot, either shoots the fist or it just kind of pushes it forward a bit. So they've taken a vintage classic collector, classic character, and they've given it some new features that would be a lot of fun for kids. Now Stratos, I really think this is just, when I think of Stratos, I don't think of this, and this just blows my mind. It's crazy looking, and it looks cool. I think it looks pretty cool. I think there's a Stratos coming for the CGI line, if it's not already out. Certainly not out in my Walmarts, but this thing is crazy looking with all the different colors. He's got a backpack on him, if you can see that right there, right there. So it looks like he's got some projectiles in the backpack, and there's a projectile up front in there, and so tons of playability. Man, we don't get this out of toys, and I think these were like $7 each or something. I'm trying to get this glare to and be able to see it all. So yeah, that's the claw that's on there. He's got his wings. He's got all of that good stuff, and then, you know, real quick, I'm just going to show the cross sell of all of the figures that you'd be getting around this time, around this era, this wave or something like that. Funny, I didn't do this on purpose, but another figure that's at retail right now, Buzz-Off, and he's been at retail since January, so 9 months at retail. Good job, dude. And so anyway, this one though is a different take on Buzz-Off, and so having seen the Origins one over and over and over and over at retail, then seeing this is such a different design, and it actually makes sense. Like, it looks more like some sort of a bee or a mosquito, or like some sort of not mosquito, but it does look more like an insect. And then this really cool staff. I mean, just look at that really cool staff, and I guess there's an ejection piece on it. I would actually hate trying to collect all this complete loose. That might be a challenge. But I looked some of these up. When I got this collection, I looked them up and I was like, well, how much are these things even worth? They're not worth that much. You can still get most of this stuff for about $20 a figure. Some of them go a little higher, but most of them, I think I saw this Buzz-Off for about that. So pretty cool though. If you want to pick up one of these on the secondary market, it shouldn't really cost you that much. Now for Tri-Klops. Tri-Klops, this is crazy. So he's got a stand. It looks like an Orco stand, and then he's got some sort of a probe on it or whatever. But he looks crazy too. Just like, that is one crazy looking dude. And I'm sure his eye in the package is hard to see, but he's got the different eyes that would flip around, I guess. Not really sure. I don't have a loose one. His sword looks very retro, and then of course this is an updated sculpt with a giant kind of loincloth straps that he's got going on there. Let's see what this does here. So we've got number 1, the remote spy robot, and then we have a robot stand. We have a visor. Number 3, there's his visor, and then number 4, sword. So pretty cool update. All right, so talking with my friends that collect these, this is the biggest epic fail of the line, because they put out Beastman in Merman packaging, and it's so funny that whoever originally collected all of this got both versions. That's so funny that so it's fun to have both versions and to see this. And I like variants and stuff. Maybe packaging variants, I think you could go too far. You can go crazy with packaging variants, but still with this, I think it's pretty cool. And Beastman, it looks a whole lot like this Beastman. So either they both did a good job to match each other. That is pretty cool. This is the McDonald's one for $1, or you've spent $7 or $8, however much they were at retail back in 2002, 2003. But man, that is so interesting, so cool. That Beastman, I think maybe some of the modern stuff is already being inspired by this, but my heart still lies in when it comes to this Filmation, the Filmation Beastman. But I can appreciate this. Next we got Manny Faces, which is a crazy update, but oddly enough, he doesn't do much. He's just got a gun that fires, but here he is compared to an original Man-E-Faces, sort of. And the original one's much bigger, so I did kind of get that weird feel that these were small, but not with some of the other characters. But with this one, definitely it feels like he's a bit small for Man-E-Faces. So anyway, I'm sure he has the face spinning gimmick and to get all that good stuff done. Let's look at the back, see what it says. Okay, so it does have the launching projectile. You do spin the face, and so I guess they looked at this, you know, engineering the face spinning and all that kind of stuff as its major play point, and they did that back in the day because I think it only came with a gun, right? At this point, you were into a Snake Hunter He-Man for the Snakemen and all that kind of stuff. So he's gonna come with a bunch of gear. It looks like he's got a net and all that. The back will show us what it does. Don't worry, it's gonna be okay. But they definitely added some stuff. These giant cuffs on his wrist. So just look forward to the Masterverse version of this coming in 2024, right? So let's have a look at the back and see what all it does. So he's got a backpack that launches a whip, I guess. 3 is Snake Net. Fillet a serpent. So that's crazy. But it does kind of fling off. It shows it flings off right there. He's got a different sword and a different kind of axe. Pretty cool. Nice armor Skeletor. Now, I kind of believe that the main characters just got some sort of an upgrade or changeover into this line. And with that, instead of just repacking the same one, it's cool they did something different. I like that. I respect that. And, of course, that carries on the tradition of the line with the armor He-Man, the battle armor He-Man, and then going into the laser light and all that kind of stuff. So, how many laser light He-Mans do I have? I don't know. I got to inventory those. I think it's 0. Let's see. The Havoc Staff looks different Havoc Staff and all this kind of stuff, and it does fire and shoot. Let's look at that. That is cool. So the Havoc Staff shoots. You plug that into the top, and it fires. Well, we just did that so we can have a big Havoc Staff and fit it all in the package. This is the Snakeman series, so of course we have a Snakeman, and this is King Hiss. So this is the figure that I keep hearing so many people say they want in Masterverse and in Origins. Bring on the Snakemen, and here are the Snakemen. So looking back here, so it does kind of show without the glare. It shows him with his whole body and everything on. King Hiss looking pretty cool. And then you can pull that off and you have a snake underneath. And, you know, somebody should do this. This should be a G.I. Joe classified figure for Cobra Commander. And underneath is a snake. And I was a man. That would be a lot of fun. So that's exactly the same thing that they could do with Cobra Commander. Anyway, looks pretty cool, you guys. It looks like this either just projects out or it launches. And if it does, number 3, missile. So it launches. Pretty cool, though. I mean, he is the king bad guy of this series. Okay, so Wizard World Keldor. So here's the thing. I guess they cut it out of the box so you can actually see it. They call it uncirculated. They got it AFA graded. I don't AFA anything. I'm not an AFA kind of guy. But this is kind of cool. So Keldor came before Skeletor, and I think they even showed it in that first episode of the show. And so pretty cool figure overall. And I think that, what was it, like a head swap? They just head swap a couple of different accessories, and then there it is as a Wizard World exclusive in Chicago of 2003. I missed the 2022 Wizard World coverage. I don't know where I could go to find that. But anyway, still pretty cool. It's pretty awesome that they made this back in the day, and it's very nice to have. Here's the back of the set and the packaging and this stupid AFA stuff. Okay, so interchangeable heads let you go from Keldor to Skeletor, as told in the premiere episode of the Masters Universe television show, The Birth of Skeletor. Next up, there's the standard He-Man with a sort of battle tank. So, yeah, that's cool. It's their battle tank. Now, I do want to kind of show this real quick. The upgraded He-Man next to standard He-Man. And so you can see what they did. They didn't just reissue him. But I'm sure they used... No, I don't even know if they used any parts. Maybe the same head, but... Anyhow, let's look at the back of this. And we can see a bunch of play features with this thing here, which I think that I'm going to shout out. They did a really good job with a lot of play features. So push down on the gun mount to fire wolf head forward, so that shoots forward. Push lever to raise side missile launchers, and then rear cannon rotates left and right, and then pull trigger to launch missiles. So push trigger, so it's just like a friction-based push missile. That's kind of cheaped out, but still, hey, it was some sort of effort made. Pretty cool overall. Now, they made a whole bunch of other stuff, like a Battle Cat, and a lot of course, the Panther Battle Cat. Then they had some flying machines, a whole bunch of other stuff, but I was not going to be all inclusive on this. I might be inclusive on another video in the future, but for now, this is enough. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed my look at my collection of He-Man 2000X. That's pretty much all I've got. And this is very interesting. I do have a higher level of appreciation for this line, especially higher than I did back in 2003 or 2 whenever it came out. And I think it is a really good line for an updated, modernized take on classic original characters. And they did a lot of things really well. Lots of great play features. And so with that, it's pretty cool. Also, the McDonald's toys are probably the best ever fast food premiums. If there's a better fast food premium, I dare you to put it in the comments. But anyway, let me know what you think about these. Do you have any of these? Do you look forward to these in the Masterverse or Origins? Like and subscribe, and happy Retro Wednesday. Tydirium Hanger out.
So this is Castle Grayskull. Could use a coat of paint.
Tila sure can joust.
Yes, she's come a long way.
What does he want now? I hear he's come up with a device to destroy the Mystic Wall.
Like I never heard that one before.